Welcome back to Sports Cards with Joe
and Doug.
And Doug, today we're talking BGS because there's a lot going on. I just got back from the Mint Collective in Las Vegas. They did a fantastic job with the event, and there was a lot of talk about BGS because there's a lot going on. First, to me, the most important thing is BGS is rolling out a new service called Beckett Select Grading to try to fill the gap for a lower end, a more affordable grading. And it's going to be a single grade service, no subgrades. The holder is very similar. It's just as they explained to me, the outer dimensions are going to be the same. The thickness is just a hair thinner. Mm-hmm. Not as thin as like PSA, but they're going to be offering this. They offer it now. You can grade through us. You can go to, if you download our BGS submission form, it's now available. We're going to be offering the service at $12.50 a card.
Very good.
And that's going to include shipping to BGS, back from BGS, and back to you, back to the customer if you have 20 or more. And so, very affordable. They're quoting us right now about 40 business day turnaround. But now the caveat is maximum $300 value and only the last 10 years. And only standard size cards, no thick cards.
I love learning things right here on the spot. I didn't know all that.
I was literally gone for a week, and I haven't had meetings with everyone here. But yeah, so basically.
So $300 max value.
Yeah.
And if it's over that, they just cut the card up, shred it in their shredder. Is that what happens? Okay, so $300 max value. And the slab's going to nest in with these, just a little smaller. I think that's pretty important, too.
It is, and they're going to use the same labels.
Because you remember BCCG, they were just a different size altogether. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same labels. It's going to be the same grading standard. No subgrades.
No subgrades, that's
$300
key.
max value, and only the last, so 2013 and up products.
2013 and up. And it's going to be a rolling 10 or...
Rolling 10 years, yeah.
Going forward, it'll be 11 years, 12 years, so always go back to 2000, or is it only going to be, okay.
So this is your 1 year to grade 2013. They said that's the plan for right now.
Okay.
So a rolling 10 years. And so I think we will see a lot of submissions of that, a lot of people who, because it is a cheaper price point than the cheapest we're offering BGS. Non-subs currently is $20 all in. And the cheap, we're at 20 on PSA, I think 19 on SGC in quantity. So it's definitely a cheaper.
Well, I think a lot
point.
of people have heard $12.50, and that's kind of going to be the trigger for them. But the 40-day work, even if it's working day turnaround, I mean, basically that's 2 months. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's really good. That is also very helpful to get some submissions. I think that's a great idea. I think Beckett is making a smart move with this select holder.
Yeah, and so I think it's going to be a game changer for them, for sure, to try to get back some market share, because we know their market share in terms of submissions is really low right now.
Yeah, well,
relative to where it's been.
Being in the hobby for as long as I have, I mean, Beckett, to me, if you say the word Beckett, I always think premium. Like they were a premium holder and a premium service, and just the way times have changed and new people are added to the industry and their 9.5 rating, people just don't hold them as high as they used to. So this is a nice way. Now they are going to have a 10-point scale. It'll be a gem mint.
No,
with Beckett Select.
Well, what I was told at the collective is that if the card grades, that if a card were to grade a pristine 10, it will roll over to their premium level holder.
Oh, wow.
But you'll pay it. You'll pay a difference. But let's talk about the 10-point scale, because that's been the topic all over the industry in the graded sector the last few days. The other big announcement they had made at the show was, and let me give you the timeline. So the night I get there, I'm told by a Beckett representative, we're rolling out a new grade, or that we're going to change. 10 is going to be gem mint instead of 9.5
for the BGS,
for regular BGS. Oh, yeah, the holders that we have here. But the requirement was going to be 4 9.5s subgrades to qualify for the 10 gem mint grade. But then there was a lot of pushback on social media. By the next day they changed it. It was going to be you had to have at least 1 10 subgrade and 3 9.5s. And then there was more uproar. And then by the next day, they'd called it off completely. So the last update they'd sent out, they said they want feedback from collectors. They said, we've listened. You didn't like this plan. We've listened. Please stay tuned for further updates about our grade. You got a survey, right?
Yeah. They sent to just my regular email address a survey talking about what had happened and asking for more feedback. We really appreciate that everybody told us how they felt. So I know the first day that you told me that Beckett was considering this, my response to you was, I don't think that's a good idea. I know it's probably too late to rescind that. And then the second day you came up with other options for it. Mm-hmm. And the third day they rescinded it. In all honesty, Joe, I think they made the right move. I mean, I think
by the end of it.
I know they had 2 swings at it, but before they struck out with this idea, they decided to rescind the changes. And I think that was a good idea. I mean, I still, like I said before, I think Beckett is a premium company, a premium holder, and they would have lost some of my respect. Yeah. And this is only my opinion. Right. So, but I'm
going to throw mine out.
All right.
So for months, I have said internally, I've shared with people in the industry that I thought Beckett needed to catch up with the rest of the industry and change to a 10-point scale. Yes, they've had a 10 pristine forever, but that they needed to have a gem mint 10 standard because there's so many. I mean, if you figure out how many people are in our industry and what percentage of those people are new, it's a massive percentage. I don't know the exact number, but it's a massive percentage. And the new people in the industry have been trained to understand a 10 is gem mint. And when you try to talk, and I know when you try to talk to a new submitter and you go, well, with this company, if you get gem mint, you'll get a 10. And that's referring to SGC or CSG or PSA. Then you go, and with this company, by the same standard, you get a 9.5. And they go, well, why would I grade with a company and only get a 9.5 if it's a gem mint when I can get a 10 with the other 3 companies? It's a really hard sales pitch if I'm trying to explain it. So I've said for a long time, several months anyway, that I thought they should revamp the scale, and if you have a 9.5 in hand, they should change the scale to 10 gem mint rather than 9.5 gem mint. You'd still have pristine 10s. You can have a different color, on the pristine 10s. I think the problem is with what they attempted is you think of everybody out there that has BGS 9.5s that have subgrades. And initially they said, we're going to change it to a gem mint 10 if you have 4 9.5 subgrades. And then the next day it was if you have a 10 subgrade. The problem is, great for all those who have those cards, but you've actually hurt the value of everyone sitting on all the others. And the reason being because their new scale was going to be 9.5 was now a mint plus grade rather than an existing gem mint grade. So by doing so, I'll get in trouble because somebody's going to say your numbers are wrong. But I'm going to take a wild guess here. Let's say that of everything subgrades out there that has a 9.5 grade, let's guess that 15% are either quad 9.5s or higher. I don't know that number. I literally pulled it out of my pocket. I don't know. Might be higher, might be lower. But let's say if the number were 15%, then 15% of those sitting on BGS 9.5s could now turn it into a 10. But the other 85% are sitting on a card with lower subgrades, like this one, which is a 9, 10, 9.5, 9.5. but one of the subgrades is not a 9.5, therefore it wouldn't
They
have
would not
qualified.
transfer. Mhm.
So, and then going forward, that would have only be a Mint Plus grade. So the flaw with their logic was that you were going to devalue, in the minds of collectors, 85% or whatever the number is of those sitting on 9.5s already. So it's kind of like you got to go all the way or don't, and so now they're, yes, I see it.
I know they didn't do it, so we really don't have to talk that much about it. But what about?
But I still think they should.
What about non? I know you do.
I think
what
they
about
should.
non-subgraded 9.5s?
Exactly. I don't know.
I was okay.
That's
I didn't
true.
know. I didn't hear, and
There
I was just wondering.
I don't think that was part of the
Yeah, I
puzzle.
just think that's it's a difficult pull. They've gotten this far with these grades. Sometimes when you go from when you change your scale, it leaves a little bit of a question of, I don't know. I don't want to say anything too bad, but it just leaves questions in people's minds. Why are you changing your scale? It's happened in the industry before. I didn't think it would make as big of a difference making those changes. I thought it would be more hurtful, as you're talking about, the way they were going to present it, than helpful. So,
So see, my thought, and I think the reason my opinion, they've still got to do something. And the reason is, if you go, GemRate.com reports, how many submissions each company is getting each month. And I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but one of the months I looked at recently, BGS was at about 7% or 8% of PSA. That's really low. They were behind SGC, they were behind CSG, and they were light years behind PSA in terms of total submissions. That's indicative that there's a problem. There's reason. Now there's other reasons, but the bottom line is BGS 9.5s don't sell for anywhere near what PSA 10s do. Yes, they're closer in line with SGC 10s and CSG 10s, and I don't have comps in front of me to run scenarios, but the bottom line is, in general, they're worth a decent percentage less. Sometimes half, sometimes 70%, depends on the card. So if they ever want to catch up, my opinion, if they converted all existing 9.5s, I don't know what they do with the subgrades. That's the biggest part of the math logic they've got to figure out. But if they converted all existing 9.5s to 10 holders, I think they would see an immediate bump in those values, because all these new people in the industry are like, oh, that's a 10. That's a PSA 10. That's a BGS 10. They both say Gem Mint. Oh, okay. They're equal grades. Instead of the confusion that's out there with a huge percent of the industry is like, why is a 9.5 supposedly as good as it? They don't get it. So I'm a numbers guy. And so the thing is, I think not only would it help the values, you could think about the thousands of submissions they would get for reholder service. Now, that's a short-term cash grab, depending on what number they put it at, but the bottom line is it gets people sending them cards again.
Yeah. Yes, very true.
So I don't know that's going to happen, and as I tell people, I don't have a horse in the race. We represent 4 good companies, and so we work with PSA, BGS, CSG, and SGC, and I have great respect for all of them. I talk with reps from all of them at this show, and so it's just since this has been some of the buzz in the industry, I wanted to give our feedback, and obviously we maybe see a little different. I just think from a if I'm their consultant, which I'm not, if I'm their consultant, something's still got to be done. And I think I applaud them for trying something.
Well, I think the select
they tried. I think the select.
I think the select is going to it'll change. I don't know if they'll categorize that as a different or include it with the other Becketts to see how they compare and how their market share is out of the Gem report.
You would think so, but it's still.
But I think that was a smart move. That was a great move, and then they also kind of clouded it up with a little bit of the other talk about this. Yeah. So I even had frontline info here. I had a customer come in on Saturday when you were gone and specifically asked me to send to Beckett because they had a new grading scale. So your opinion that they should do it, this guy was happy about it. And so there are people out there that would have been happy with it. So, but I understand that Beckett got so much feedback about it, and I respect them for at least. Some people get so far into it that you can't turn around and go back.
Right.
And they were halfway across the channel, and they decided to swim back, and that was the right thing to do, I feel. So maybe present something.
I'll agree with you that. Of course, we can all play Monday morning quarterback and look back on it, and I'm sure they're looking back on it now and going, here was the flaw in our idea, And so I try to present what I think one of them. I think they ought to go to a 10 gym. I've been preaching that, saying that for months, but I've told reps from there. I think that's what they ought to do, but they may be calling me like, "Thanks a lot." Yeah, but I didn't say only do it on certain subgrades, but I understand. They're the company of subgrades, and in their heads they got to make that math work. And so, but I'm playing the novice, and in the room, and I walk in and go, "It says Gem Mint." If I'm a new guy in the industry, I bought this card. If they change to a 10 Gem Mint, every card graded if BGS puts their name behind this and says this card is Gem Mint and we stand behind our grade, then every one of these that says Gem Mint should be relabeled Gem Mint in their new holder.
Well, I'll forward you the link for the survey so that you can tell them directly that idea, because I think you're right. I mean, honestly, if they want to implement it, I think that would have been the better way to do it.
Either you go,
and then that way it wouldn't matter if it's subgraded or not.
Right. I mean,
because it would be a 10.
Subgrades would be secondary.
Well, I'm talking about on non-subgraded cards. Then they could convert all those to Gem Mint 10.
And so you could still I guess you may even have to change your subgrade form. I don't know. But the bottom line is, if they had converted, then you would still have hierarchies of 10s, which have the higher subgrades or not.
True.
But so wherever you want to grade your cards, if you want to send them to the new Beckett Select service, if you want to send them to the regular Beckett BGS service, if you want to grade with PSA, SGC, CSG, we offer all of them. And so we've only got a couple minutes, Doug, but let's touch on volume. Has been insane.
Very good, very strong, still very, very strong. We are very busy here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the trust that people have with us. We get boxes, 20 packages a day, different sizes, tapes, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and I'm getting goosebumps right now because I'm so nerdy, but I really do appreciate it. It's fun to see. It's always a surprise. We never know if we're going to have a Jordan rookie or something in there, or we're going to have mostly ultra modern, brand new stuff going in for grading. I get to see
100 Pokemon cards.
I get to see the new Prism NFL with a lot of the fanciness that they have. It's always nice. I don't open as many boxes as I used to, so sometimes this is a great way to get a feel for what's the brand new stuff out there. Because believe me, you guys send us cards sometimes sooner than PSA has it in their database. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, y'all are out there ripping and shipping, basically.
Love it.
And so,
so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, our volume has grown dramatically, and it appears to be industry-wide. Submission volume is up, so that's a great thing. We're seeing the largest number of submissions we've taken in since early 2021. And so, we're receiving several hundred, sometimes more than that, per day, and customers around the globe. And if you're not familiar with our services, please go on our website, GotBaseballCards.com. You can pick your company, pick your service. We do provide free pre-screening. The only thing we do is we'll screen the cards if you want it. The only thing we charge for on rejected cards is $2 a card, and that's if you choose not to grade them. We have some customers, like, we screen them. Doug handles more of the screening than Doug and Eli do, and we notify the customer and let them know, and someone will say, no, go ahead and grade them anyway.
Yeah, majority of the time they take our advice, and it's not because we're geniuses or not, but it's just a second pair of eyes looking at it, and they're like, I might have thought that too. But 1 or 2 kickbacks because it's their favorite card, or because even in an 8 they would want it that way. But yeah, it's a back and forth. These are your cards. You can make changes to what we had said. It's all in, the ball is in your court.
Yeah.
And we listen to you and we do what you say. And we're not always right and we're not always wrong. So it's good to have that back and forth.
But yeah, we've been doing a long time, been in business for 32 years. We've been, and as I remind customers, there's other group submitters. We've just been doing it longer than anyone else, because I've been a group submitter since 1998 with PSA and SGC, and since 99 when BGS launched the company. I still remember being on the phone with a rep from BGS and said, "Hey, I heard y'all are doing something with grading." And they're like, "How'd you hear?" "Yeah, we're working on our own grading company." And that was before they even launched. So,
amazing.
So we've been working with all 3 of those as long as, for a long time.
Honestly, Joe, I still have some of the original SGC holders with the 2 grades on it, the number grade and then the double-digit grade. Those you had done for me literally 20 years ago, 25 years ago. PSA slabs, Beckett slabs, you had done all those for me. So now it's exciting to be in the process now and get to see it from this side.
Yeah. So just know we're your #1 source for grading. We can help you out as we do with thousands of other customers, and we greatly appreciate your trust in us as we do our best to help you out. So please visit our website, GotBaseballCards.com. Hope you like this video. Hope you will subscribe and be back for more great content from Joe
and Doug. Thank you.